Excuse me. Unsweetened tea. I'm trying to cut back on the sugar. Narcissists and workplace crime. This is a big one. This is an extension of the idea that narcissists don't recognize boundaries. Because the narcissist sees himself as unique, special, entitled to special privileges and preferential treatments, he believed that his birth was a blessing to the world, that everybody is expected to give him praise. Then by nature, he has no problem violating boundaries. I mean, he will violate personal boundaries all the time. And since if you add up the combination of willing to violate personal boundaries or not respecting boundaries, willing to violate other people because he's entitled to do so, the idea that he's never responsible for his own actions, the idea that he cannot foresee consequences, then it makes perfect sense why narcissists in the workplace would maybe violate laws and have no problem with it. Remember, it's not their fault they would break a law. They can't foresee the consequences of breaking the law, even though they know what they're doing and they know the possibilities. They are entitled to do that. So let's assume that you have a narcissist or a sociopath at your workplace that's targeting you. They're coming after you because of some personal vendetta. Perhaps you didn't tell them that their shoes were the right color, or you didn't praise their image every day. They decide to target you. The traditional path is to get a lawyer and go through, all this legal stuff, and then, usually, you might have to transfer something. But the truth of the matter is, any person that would actually go to that degree to slander you, that would literally accuse you of all sorts of things that you would never do, just because they want to punish you. In other words, the kind of person that's going to sabotage your work and then blame you for failing, or slander you with rumors and not have any regard on how that affects you or your family, is obviously showing they lack boundaries. Now, whether they're classically a malignant narcissist or a sociopath, in this case is irrelevant. They're saying, I will falsely accuse you of things that will cause you to destroy your career, that might drive you to suicide, and I won't lose a night's sleep over that. A person that's willing to do that, a person that's willing to send in a fellow employee or subordinate or even a supervisor to their own grave without even losing a night's sleep, is showing that they have a personality disorder. I don't recognize your humanity. I am above your humanity. I am above the laws of God. I am above the laws of the land. If I'm above the laws of the land, I'm above the laws of the land. Because I am special. I am unique. I am entitled to special privileges and preferential treatments. It was the Satanist Aleister Crowley that said, quote, ordinary morality is for ordinary people. Think about that. Ordinary morality is for ordinary people, which means that if you see yourself as special, then you're not limited to that ordinary morality. And guess what a narcissist sees? Himself as special, unique. He is not ordinary. He prides himself on not being ordinary. So the ordinary commandments, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not bear false witness, those don't apply to him because God is inferior. He's special and unique. The commandments don't apply to him because he's special. So therefore, let's say, example, somebody that targets you, you might decide they want to come after you. You might want to dig up a little dirt on them, find out if there's any. If chances are if they're willing to slander you or smear you or target you or sabotage you or try to utterly destroy you because they feel entitled to do that because they're special. Then the chances are they're probably not going to make much of being faithful to their wife or husband. So it shouldn't be too hard to find out any affairs they're going on behind their back because they do that crap all the time. Any sort of money, chances are if a person's willing to, destroy good workers and, out of personal vendetta, that again shows that they lack boundaries. So the kind of person that's willing to send someone into depression and suicide would probably have no problem jacking money or funds from the company they work for. So if you can find out that maybe there's any sort of, mysterious stashes of cash going through certain places, or that they've removed certain security systems, or that they're having affairs, or that they're destroying or tampering with paperwork, instead of focusing on, doing the, standard, I got a lawyer, focus on, they have committed to destroying you, which shows that they are complete monsters. So if they're willing to commit that sort of crime, certainly they're willing to commit other sorts of crimes. So, yeah, you can get a lawyer, and but the thing is, the law and the courts are not really they're not really very well adapted to dealing with narcissists and sociopaths the way those of us who've been abused by them, or those of us who have been targeted by their subhuman kind, their evil, wicked kind, have done. So the traditional legal system, as far as these sort of protection and laws, which we're very limited on, they just don't know how to handle these people. So the best way to do is an old military track. You're trying to fight your enemy front to front, right? The enemy's coming at you to target. You must be punished, so they lie, slander, cheat, try to destroy your career, try to ruin your family, try to drive you to suicide, so they get all high on it. And you get a lawyer to defend yourself against false accusations, and then there's all this mediation when mediation doesn't work because you were targeted. There was actually a deliberately intent to destroy you by a sociopath. So it has nothing to do with workers not getting along. It has to do with, I want to drive you to suicide, and then I'm going to go get high on your blood. They are that nuts, but the courts aren't adept to doing it. So what you could do is find the same person, instead of fighting them face to face, go around and flank them from the side. Use an old military technique. Make them believe that you're retreating and lure them in, or make them believe there's attacks on another side. So you might have a lawyer, but then go essentially and find out if you can get any sort of surveillance or a private investigator on any criminal activities they may do. Because if you can get some evidence of criminal activities, then you can bypass the lawyer altogether and send them to prison or send them to jail. Or essentially, you could destroy them. You could destroy them because they, like I said, if they're out to get you, they're trying to destroy you, and they will. Usually, the traditional litigation, it only goes so far. But the same person that's willing to lie to destroy your life is the same willing person. They've already proven that they're a liar, that they're a dishonest person. You can't trust them. That same kind of person that's willing to lie to destroy another human being is obviously showing they're somebody that can't be trusted. So when you're handing them huge amounts of money and lots of power, chances are they're doing some pretty dirty stuff, and that's where you need to hit him. In fact, in another video, I may have to include some, I'm going to, just to deal with these sort of people, I'm going to include some contact information of the federal authorities and the state generals, and where you can find like different state attorney generals and different branches of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and different because when you're committing monetary crimes, you're walking on thin ice. But the narcissist will steal money from whatever institutes they're working on and go, I'm entitled to steal it. I'm special privileges. But in that regard, the law will not ever say, oh, gee, you're entitled to steal money. You're entitled to, fabricate legal documentation, or destroy documents, or hide documents, or withhold information, or sabotage or steal. You just, they're not going to go for that. So you got to find that weakness in their armor, and then you got to stick that blade into that proverbial and throw salt in the wound. So anyway, a narcissist that's willing to completely try to destroy you in the workplace is probably doing a lot of other crimes that, if you can find those crimes that they're doing, you're going to put the cards back in your own hands. Because, if you're targeted, they've already set out for your destruction. They're going to destroy you. So the only chance you have is to take out that dragon before it breathes fire on you, once you get these nuts in the workplace. Anyway, good luck with that. Just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Later, guys.